Welcome, Bob Burdick from New Wave Therapy. What I want to cover today is pain, pain management, and how you're able to manage various types of pain using the New Wave Therapy 660 nanometer therapy light. But before we can get into all of that, we need to understand what pain is and how it affects the body. So let's ask, what is pain? Well, the condensed form goes something like this. Pain is an unpleasant sensation that we experience when nerve receptors send a signal to the brain. And that signal is then used to tell us that something is wrong. Pain is also divided into two different categories. The first being acute pain, and the second is chronic pain. Acute pain refers to any pain that lasts for a short period of time. Anything from a minor cut to a broken arm. All of these types of injuries will eventually heal, and the pain will go away. The second type of pain, chronic pain, now this type of pain will be reoccurring or constant, and it will last longer than a few months. This could include situations such as some lower back pains, reoccurring headaches, fibromyalgia, arthritis, or even cancer pain. Chronic pain can have quite a strong effect on various aspects of an individual's body. It can affect their emotions or their behavior, as well as their relationships, along with the well-being of that affected person. All of these factors can trigger additional problems. Problems such as anxiety or depression, which will then make the pain even more intensified. And what I've discovered was back in 2016, the Center of Disease Control stated that 1 in 5 Americans suffer from chronic pain. Now that's close to 50 million individuals. And also, the American Chiropractic Association estimates that 80% of all Americans suffer from back pain at some time in their life. These same people also stated that most of the cases seen or projected are what are labeled as mechanical or non-organic in nature. And what that means is those types of cases are not caused by serious conditions, such as arthritis or fractures or cancer pain. When you look at all the various types of pain and how they're interpreted by the brain, which then leads to their categorization, various factors must be taken into consideration. Now these include the actual physical health of the individual involved, their mood, and finally the reason for the pain itself. Now that we've covered pain and how it's classified, let's look at one of the more common types of pain that's seen on a regular basis, and that pain is that accompanies inflammation. Now, here a practitioner understanding the proper and correct use of the New Wave 660 nanometer therapy light will give them a two-prong approach in working with clients that suffer from inflammation problems. Inflammation is somewhat of a hidden true cause of pain in people's lives. You'll find that people that suffer from inflammation problems have either a constant or a reoccurring pain in the area of their joints or muscle tissues. Plus, they have a tendency to be tired most of the time. They can also have stomach issues, such as cramps or diarrhea or even constipation. All of these are solid signs that someone is suffering from inflammation, as well as showing you that this is a problem that needs to be addressed quickly. Lastly, the person suffering from an inflammation problem will most likely have that proverbial 5 to 10 pounds that they have been packing around, dragging around for years and have never been able to get rid of. You know, there was a study that was published in Obesity magazine. Oh, it was in the spring of 2017, and it showed that the use of a pro-inflammatory diet was the best indication of an inflammatory condition. In other words, a diet that is considered to have become the modern, classical American diet. Sugary cereals, sugary drinks, deep-fried foods, pastries, trans fats, refined grains, and feedlot-raised beef. Now, understanding the problem and recognizing that a well-balanced and healthy diet to start the weight management side of the problem, now along with the use of the new wave 660 nanometer therapy light, working on the muscle and joint pain problems, will get people back on the right track to completely combat inflammation, and it will be done in a more balanced program that will show better results in a faster rate of progress. Now, when people have a chronic pain problem, this is a totally different situation and needs to be shown that you can help them manage their pain and make their life more enjoyable. Just to show you how simple and how easy it can be, I want to share with you an example of how we were able to help someone with a chronic pain problem. I was at a client's home, working on their horse, using the light therapy device, and the owner of the horse was telling me how much it had helped their horse, and that she was so very pleased with the results and the progress that the horse was making. Now, it was at this point that she asked me if I might be able to help her husband. He was in constant pain. And I responded with, "What's his problem?" She then proceeded to explain how her husband, who was a contractor, had fallen off a 16-foot roof and broke his back. The injury required multiple surgeries, which resulted in the insertion of a titanium rod in his spine, and then it was secured with multiple screws and pins just to hold everything in place. Before I could answer, she stated that her husband was a non-believer. At that point, all I did was smile and say, "If he'd come down and meet me, I'd really like to meet." Well, he did decide to come down to where I was working on her horse, and he then proceeded to also explain that what had happened and what had been done to his back. He then lifted up his shirt, showed me the scar along his spine, and pointed to the areas where the screws and the pins were located. Along with, he also showed me the length of the rod as well. Now, taking a closer look at the areas that he showed me had me realize that he was not really standing up straight or erect. I started to use the red light therapy device all along the areas that he'd pointed to, and in less than 2 minutes, I noticed that he started to become more upright and better balanced. I also explained that he might start to feel a mild warming sensation in his back. And he said that he was starting to feel something like a sensation. And having seen him to start to straighten, I asked him what had happened. And the answer I received was this: "I don't want to have to admit it, but I think it's working." Now, needless to say, they bought a new Wave Therapy 660 nanometer light. And not only is the husband using it on a daily basis, but it gets passed around the entire family for their individual problems. Now, helping people manage pain using the new Wave 660 nanometer therapy light is both easy and effective for either chronic or acute pain problems. I would also like to share with you one of the very first times that we were able to help an individual with an acute pain problem, and that goes back close to 4 years ago. And we had been called in to work on another horse, and in the process of working with the horse, my wife discovered that the owner had come off her horse and injured her back. It was injured to the point that it was painful for her to reach down and pick something up off of the ground. In fact, she would get a sharp shooting pain throughout her lower back anytime she tried to do that. While I continued to work with the horse, my wife applied the red light therapy device to the area where the pain was located. And within a few minutes, something happened that the horse owner needed to pick up something off of the ground. In doing so, she realized that her back pain was gone. She was so convinced that she bought the entire line of New Wave therapy lights, all 4 of them. Even after this 4-year period, she continues to use the various lights for problems of herself, her family, and even her various animals. She's got dogs, she's got cats, and she's got horses. She's in constant contact with us. She continues to use our services on a very regular basis and is constantly looking for new ways that she could use her therapy lights. I could go on and on with stories how we've helped people within New Wave therapy lights, but I should stop here before I start to bore you to death with all of my stories. I just want you to be aware that the management of pain is another high response area that can be so helpful to people when using the New Wave 660 nanometer therapy light. Does it cure? No. But does it help in the management of pain? Definitely. So thanks for listening and taking your time to come by, and we hope to see you again soon.